By 9:00 a.m., my father was banging on my door so hard I thought he'd splinter the frame, his voice a raw, hysterical scream that ripped through the otherwise peaceful Christmas morning. "Open the door, you ungrateful little," he bellowed, his words muffled but terrifyingly clear. He was absolutely livid, but honestly, all I felt was a cold, quiet satisfaction. I had done what I had to do, the culmination of years of hurt, and I wasn't opening that door for anyone. Was I wrong for what I did? For finally standing up for my little girl and demanding the respect my family had refused to give us? Tell me honestly if you would have done the same thing after years of being treated like a second-class member of the family. To understand why my dad, a man who prides himself on his composure, was screaming himself hoarse on my porch on the most sacred family holiday, we have to go back about a month, right before my daughter Lily turned 7. Now, Lily is the absolute light of my life. She's quiet, incredibly kind, and has this shy, sweet smile that can melt any frustration I'm having. But she's also very observant, and she's noticed for a long time the subtle, painful difference in how she's treated compared to her cousins. My sister Sarah's 2 boys, Ethan and Noah. Sarah, who is 3 years older than me, has always been the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, and her kids. They are treated like royalty, the undisputed heirs to the family's entire emotional and financial estate. Lily's birthday is in early December, and every year, it's a struggle. It's too close to Christmas, the common refrain goes, or people are too busy, or it's bad timing. Sarah's boys, however, both have spring birthdays, and those are always lavish, fully attended affairs with themed catering and gifts that require a truck to haul. For Lily's 7th, I try to keep it simple, a small party at a local pizza place, inviting just the family. I was cautiously optimistic. It's a milestone, 7, and I thought maybe, just maybe, this year they would make an effort. I sent out the invitations 3 weeks in advance, making sure to follow up with a polite, casual text to my mother. The response I got from Mom came back about a week later, a simple, blunt text message that felt like a punch to the gut. "We're skipping Lily's birthday, things are tight." Just like that. No apology, no offer to send a gift, no suggestion of a rain check. Just a cold, final declaration that they wouldn't be there. And when she said we, she meant her dad, and of course Sarah and her family. I sat staring at the phone, feeling that familiar, nauseating mix of rage and despair. This was the 5th year in a row that they had either skipped or substantially downscaled her party, always citing some vague financial or time constraint. I wanted to scream, to lash out, but I've been down that road before. It only leads to me being labeled the dramatic, difficult one who can't understand simple budget constraints. So I took a deep breath, swallowed the lump in my throat for Lily's sake, and typed back the only acceptable response in this toxic family dynamic. "No problem. We understand." I made sure to add a little smiley face at the end, the universal symbol for "I'm fine, you win, I'm miserable." I didn't want to give them any ammunition. Lily had a small, lovely party with just a couple of her school friends, and I did my best to make her feel special, but the absence of her grandparents and aunt was a gaping hole I couldn't fill. Lily is a smart girl. She asked quietly why Grandma and Grandpa didn't come, and I just mumbled something about them being very busy with work, hoping she wouldn't press the issue. Now, fast forward a week. It was Christmas Eve, and I was scrolling through social media, trying to distract myself while wrapping the last of Lily's presents. I deliberately avoided looking at Sarah's page, but the algorithm, or fate, or whatever cruel deity controls these things, decided to put my mother's post right at the top of my feed. My mother, the one who had texted me just 2 weeks earlier that things are tight, and they had to skip their only other grandchild's birthday, had posted a series of photos. And they weren't just any photos. The first was a picture of their living room, not a normal living room. It was buried, absolutely swallowed by brightly wrapped packages, towering over Ethan and Noah like brightly colored skyscrapers. The caption read, "Santa came early, spoiling our sweet boys this year. It's what Christmas is all about." The second photo was of my sister Sarah looking absolutely smug, standing next to 3 giant helium balloons shaped like cartoon characters, clearly purchased for a Christmas Eve gathering, not just for the morning. The final photo was a close-up of a haul of electronics, a brand, new gaming console, an expensive drone, and 2 sleek, top-of-the-line tablets. These were not modest, affordable gifts. These were rich gifts, gifts that screamed no expense spared. This wasn't a family where things were tight. This was a family where money was tight only when it came to me and my daughter. That moment, seeing that post, everything in me just snapped. It wasn't just the money. It was the blatant, in-your-face disrespect. The lie, the hypocrisy. They had canceled on my daughter's birthday with a casual, dismissive excuse, only to immediately funnel those exact same resources into an obscene display of favoritism for Sarah's kids. It confirmed every suspicion I'd ever had. We were not important to them. Lily was an afterthought, a collateral burden, while Ethan and Noah were the main event. I felt physically ill, a cold dread mixing with a furious, boiling resentment. I closed my laptop and walked over to Lily's room. She was asleep, tucked into bed with her stuffed unicorn. I sat on the edge of her bed, watching her peaceful, innocent face, and the tears started. They weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of impotent rage. I thought about all the years I'd excused their behavior, all the times I'd convinced myself they just didn't realize how much they were hurting us. I had always been the peacemaker, the one who kept the peace for the sake of the family unit. But what was the point of a family unit that only valued one half of its members? I felt a sudden, profound shift, a quiet resolve hardening in my chest. I wasn't going to let them get away with this casual cruelty anymore. Not one more time. Christmas morning arrived, and I woke up before dawn. Lily, of course, was ecstatic with the small pile of gifts I'd gotten her: books, a new art set, and a couple of board games. She was beaming. We were sitting on the couch drinking hot cocoa when the phone call started. First my mother, then Sarah, both calling to wish us a Merry Christmas. They kept their calls short, polite, and pointedly casual, making no mention of the massive haul of gifts they were likely now staring at. Then the inevitable text from Mom, "Come over around 11:00 a.m. for brunch and to exchange gifts." It was the usual routine. Lily was dressed and ready by 10:30 a.m., buzzing with nervous energy. She grabbed her one carefully wrapped gift for her grandparents, a hand-drawn picture of a snowman family, and we put on our coats. As we were walking out the door, Lily stopped, her eyes wide and sad. She was looking at the small, empty space on the coat rack where the family's other gifts were supposed to be. She didn't look at me, but she whispered the words that broke my heart completely, the words that solidified my course of action. They forgot me again. She didn't mean they forgot to buy her something. She meant they forgot to care. She was referencing her birthday, the fact that they hadn't even called to wish her a happy one. In her innocent mind, it all ran together. The absence, the lack of acknowledgement, the deep, wounding feeling of being overlooked. I knelt down and pulled her into a tight hug, inhaling the scent of her hair. "No, sweetie, no one forgot you. We are going to have a wonderful day, just us." I stood up, walked back inside, and quietly, deliberately, locked the front door. I put the phone on silent and turned off my Wi-Fi. I went into the kitchen and started making a massive breakfast feast: pancakes, bacon, and her favorite hash browns. Lily looked at me, puzzled. "Mommy, aren't we going to Grandma's house?" I smiled, a real smile this time, not the fake one I usually put on for the family. "No, sweetie, not today. Today, we're having our own perfect Christmas right here." Lily's initial confusion gave way to pure, unadulterated joy. She jumped up and down, thrilled to have me all to herself. We spent the next hour laughing, eating too much, and playing a new board game. It was the best, most authentic Christmas morning we'd ever had. Meanwhile, the text messages and calls from my family started to pile up. I ignored them all. I knew they would eventually realize we weren't coming. They were probably already sitting around their giant tree, surrounded by mountains of presents, waiting for their required photo op of the whole happy family. I bet they were already annoyed that I was disrupting their perfect picture. Around 11:30 a.m., my mother finally texted, "Where are you? Brunch is ready." I waited a full 5 minutes. Then I sent the text I had been composing in my head for years. Every carefully worded, polite excuse and veiled insult I had ever received from them weaponized and aimed right back. This wasn't a breakdown. It was a quiet, surgical operation. I just quietly did this. My text was simple, direct, and devastating. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I used their own language against them. I started by thanking her for the invitation, very politely. Then came the heart of the message, a mirror of her own words. "I'm so sorry, Mom. We won't be coming today. Honestly, things are tight right now, and we just can't spare the time or the emotional energy to drive over. We decided to focus on a small, quiet, and meaningful day at home. Plus, since we had to skip Lily's big birthday party recently, I really want to make this Christmas special for her without any unnecessary distractions. I hope you all have a wonderful, rich day. See you next year." I hit send and immediately blocked all of their numbers, Mom, Dad, and Sarah, on every platform. So that's the situation I was in. I had just taken years of pain, hypocrisy, and blatant favoritism, and returned it to them in a single, polite, and utterly uncompromising text message, using their own weak excuse as the core of my refusal. I had chosen to protect my daughter's feelings and my own peace of mind over maintaining the illusion of a happy family. Before I tell you what happened next, because you know they didn't take that well, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have kept the peace and gone over, or would you have finally put your foot down and started your own tradition? Let me know, because I honestly think about it sometimes. The immediate reaction was exactly what I expected. Silence, the shock of being dismissed, of having their emotional currency, their power to summon me rejected, must have been overwhelming. The first wave of texts came back almost instantly, but they didn't even register because I had blocked them. I knew what they were saying. They were probably calling me selfish, difficult, and demanding, the usual script. I imagined my mother, her face turning crimson, pacing their spotless kitchen, and my sister Sarah, utterly confused as to why I wasn't there to admire her children's bounty. The peace lasted for about an hour. That's how long it took them to realize I was serious, that I wasn't responding, and that they had been successfully cut off. The first sign that my message had landed with the desired impact wasn't a text or a call to my burner number. It was the arrival of the family cavalry. My father, the patriarch, the man they send in when polite texts fail. It was 9:00 a.m. Sorry, correction, it was 1:00 p.m. when he arrived, not 9:00 a.m. The trauma of the moment makes the time blur, and I heard a car screech to a halt outside. Then came the sound that I'll never forget, the thunderous, desperate banging on my front door. It wasn't a knock, it was an assault. And then his voice, my dad, who had never raised his voice at me in anger, was yelling, a primal, heartbroken bellow of fury. "Open the door, my name. What in the hell is wrong with you? This is Christmas. You can't just block us. What did you send your mother?" Lily, startled, had jumped up from the couch. She was scared. I quietly led her to her room, put on a movie, and told her to turn up the volume and play with her new toys. I promised her everything was fine, that it was just Grandpa being loud, and I closed the door. I walked back to the living room and stood silently behind the door. I did not open it. I would not let his rage or their drama into my quiet, safe space. "You're destroying Christmas," he screamed, The accusation laced with the ultimate generational guilt trip. Your sister is crying. Your mother is a wreck. Do you know what you've done? After everything we've done for you. I let him rave. I let him throw the tantrum I knew he was suppressing earlier when he was trying to look like the perfect grandfather for Sarah's kids. Finally, when he paused for breath, I spoke, my voice calm and perfectly level, cutting through the thin wood of the door. Dad, I'm sorry you're upset. We're having a lovely day here. We are not coming over. You had to skip Lily's birthday because things were tight. We've decided to be tight on time and energy today. Please go home. We will talk in the new year. That was the final blow. He went silent. I could hear him breathing heavily on the other side. Then a furious roar, a sound of pure betrayal. You will regret this. You are the most selfish, ungrateful child. You don't deserve this family. He slammed his fist on the door one last time and stomped off. I heard the car start and peel away. That evening, the text I had anticipated finally came through. Not to my phone, but to my email from my mother. It was a long, rambling message filled with gaslighting, victimhood, and, finally, a clear ultimatum. She accused me of ruining Christmas, of using my daughter as a pawn, and of being consumed by jealousy over Sarah's family. She said that Lily's birthday was a misunderstanding, and that they simply couldn't afford big gifts for all 4 grandkids. The lie was still there, embedded in the excuse. But then she dropped the hammer. If I didn't call and apologize to the entire family, specifically Sarah, by the end of the day, I would not be invited to any future family gatherings, and they would consider me estranged. I didn't reply to the email. I deleted it. The fallout was immediate and absolute. For the next 2 months, I heard nothing. I had successfully excised myself from the constant cycle of toxic favoritism. Sarah posted passive-aggressive statuses about family drama and toxic people, but I kept them blocked and didn't read them. Lily was happier than she had been in years. Our little family unit of 2 was strong, peaceful, and unburdened by the expectation of performance for the benefit of others. We established new traditions. We had Lily's half-birthday party in the summer, and her December birthday was a special mommy and me day trip. Then, about 3 months later, the dam broke. My mother called me from a restricted number. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. Her voice was strained, not with anger, but with panic. I need you to unblock your father's number, she said, cutting right to the chase. He's in the hospital. He had a minor heart scare and they need his full medical history, and he can't remember all of it. Sarah is useless. That was the truth of it. When real life hit, when there was an actual emergency and not just an emotional one, they came back to me. I was the one who kept all the records, the organized one, the capable one. Sarah was the golden child, but I was the reliable one. I did what was necessary, not for them, but for my dad's health. I unblocked his number, sent them the digitized records I kept, and confirmed his history with the hospital. I was a professional, cold, and efficient. I didn't visit. I didn't ask how Sarah was doing. I only asked for updates on my father's condition. The confrontation I needed didn't happen until Dad was out of the hospital and recuperating. My mother came to my house unannounced one afternoon. She looked tired and older than I remembered. She sat on my couch and just stared at the floor. "Why did you do it?" she finally asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Why did you have to ruin everything?" I looked her straight in the eye. "I didn't ruin everything, Mom. I exposed what was already broken. You skipped Lily's birthday because things were tight, and a week later, you posted a picture of thousands of dollars in gifts for Sarah's kids. You told me my daughter was less important to you than a photo op. And when Lily whispered that she thought you forgot her again, I decided I would never let her feel that way. Because of you again, you didn't invite us to the family. You invited us to your stage performance. I chose my daughter and my peace over your drama." She started to cry. It was the first honest emotion I'd seen from her in years. She didn't apologize for the favoritism, not really, but she confessed that the last few months had been miserable, that the family dynamic was collapsing without me, there to absorb the negativity and do the actual work. I didn't let her off the hook, but I did open a door. I told her that if she wanted me and Lily back in her life, it would be on my terms. Every single one of my children's events would be treated with the exact same enthusiasm and financial contribution as Sarah's, or she wouldn't see us. I demanded respect, not just tolerance. She agreed weakly, desperately. The family structure had been fundamentally altered. I wasn't just the reliable daughter anymore. I was the one who had finally walked away, and they knew the price of excluding us was now their own isolation. The moral of the story is simple. If you are constantly being made to feel like a lesser priority, eventually you have to prioritize yourself. You have to be the parent and the guardian of your own peace. My little girl no longer whispers about being forgotten. She knows her worth, and she knows that her mother will fiercely protect her from anyone who tries to diminish her, even if it's the people who are supposed to love her most. Like this video if you were on my side, and agreed that sometimes you have to burn the bridge to stop people from walking all over you. Subscribe for more stories like this, where I share the painful truths of navigating toxic family dynamics and finding the strength to walk away. Share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section below. Have you ever been the forgotten sibling or niece/nephew? I want to hear your stories. I'll see you all in the next story.